No more hidden verdicts, no more secrets sold. Every voice is a weapon, every story be told. Innocent till proven guilty, that's our final decree. Under this constitution we stand forever free. Phoenix in the dawn, truth ignites the sky. Together we stand tall, no more asking why.
Hey y'all, so this is a totally impromptu live. I was reading on this Saturday evening the affidavit for Tyler Robinson, accused of murdering Charlie Kirk in cold blood. And I don't know if you all have seen this affidavit yet, but I am definitely going to share it with you. Hey, Annie in Vegas. Hey, Cupcake 3 million. Hey, Patty. So come on in. I'll grab the documents. We'll start reading these bad boys because I was just shocked. I mean, some of the stuff in here really makes me wonder what is going on, right? So let me just pop this up here. Let me go ahead and get the affidavit and come on in. We are going to look and read between the lines and find out what is going on. I feel like Deep State uses video games to brainwash. Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, is this like an uprising or something going on? Don't know. Let's look at the affidavit. Let's read it. And together we'll try to break it down to understand what the heck is going on. So I know that you may not be able to read this thing. It is the best I could get. And I've got my little magnifying glass so that I could read it. No joke. I have a little Mr. Magoo magnifying glass. Wherever I left it, could it be? Who knows? What did I do with? Here it is. Okay, let's read this together because my young eyes. Yeah, okay. So it says, obviously, his name, what he's charged with, the state of County of Utah, State of Utah, affidavit, probable cause, and the following information was obtained by your affiant from police officers, multiple video recordings posted on social media websites, Utah Valley University campus surveillance cameras, and those who witnessed the incident. So far, it looks like perhaps the majority of information that they do have is what? Can anybody guess? I'll give you a second to jump on in here after what I just read and see if you can possibly guess where all the information is coming from. Yep, say hello to everyone. What do y'all think? It looks to me like a lot of digital evidence, right? And when you see a lot of digital evidence, you have to question, were there any eyewitnesses, right? Did they actually see this individual? Did they see him undo any of his weaponing like they have stated on the news? Is it firsthand? Or is it just a bunch of hearsay that they're calling witnesses? I don't know. Let's decide together. How about that? So, and then it says on September 10th, 2025, Charles James Kirk was at the Utah Valley University. I almost read it as James T. Kirk. I don't know why. Whoa. Campus in Orem, Utah for a political event. I don't know. Was it a political event, guys? I mean, I know people are calling Charlie Kirk a martyr, and I humbly don't believe so. I know that's going to probably piss a lot of you off, but that's my humble opinion. Was it a political event? I thought it was a speaking engagement. I'm just looking this up just to verify. Turning Point for America, a conservative activist. Why are they calling it a political event? Word for word in this affidavit, a political event. And then they go on to say Mr. Kirk is a conservative political activist. It doesn't say that on Turning Point. It says he was a conservative, but Turning Point just says it's a conservative nonprofit. It doesn't say political. I mean, did you consider? Yeah, I thought it was a debate. I mean, now I'm very confused, y'all. And that's not how they describe his Turning Point either. Hold on a minute. Are they turning this into a political event? Turning Point USA. I'm going to read exactly what it is. Turning Point USA. Oh, I can't read with these glasses on. Dang it. I'm going to go right to the website. Hold on. I mean, the way they write these things. Turning Point USA. Is a nonprofit organization founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk. The organization's mission is to identify, educate, train, and organize students to promote the principles. Wow. He poured his life into building a movement rooted in faith, freedom, and love of country. Interesting. I'm just stunned. I'm stunned. I'm looking directly at Turning Point USA. I'm looking at, doesn't say anything on his tour. It doesn't say anything about political nonprofit organization. The organization's mission is to identify, educate, train, and organize students to promote the principles of fiscal responsibility, free markets, and limited government. I guess the state of Utah is writing this as a political. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I see right here. I'll show you. I'm confused. Maybe they're turning it into something political. I don't know. But this is exactly what I see right here. Oh, take that bad boy off. Right here. Identify, train, and organize students to promote the principles of fiscal responsibility, free markets, and limited government. Is that political? Would you say that that's political? I wouldn't consider political, maybe, but that's just me, though. I wouldn't say that either. I mean, let me go back and look at some of your guys' comments because, I mean, your feedback is important to me as I read this. Hey, y'all! I hate when work gets in the way. Girl, we're praying for you. Or guy, I don't even know if you're a girl or guy. Hey, from Indiana. I feel like the deep state uses video games to, yeah, I believe so. In my humble opinion, alleged. I've got my banner, my disclaimer up there. Phoenix, what do you think about the people accusing Israel for being responsible for all this? I've seen a lot of people talking about it. You know what? They're going to blame and people are going to take the credit where they want. Don't buy into this rhetoric. Don't buy into it. Definitely don't. Is Tyler DNA fingerprints on the gun and bullets. We don't know. Did they use Othram for this? I'm just saying. I'm not being facetious. I'm just saying. Beam me up, Scotty. Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think TPA was political. I don't think so. His debates were mostly political. His debates, I don't want to say they were political. He knew political people. This is the difference. He knew political people. He hung out with certain people, but his own, this was founded in 2012, guys. That was not, he didn't know, he aligned what his beliefs were with his foundation. And if it happened to cross the lines of being in a political party, conservative historically has been Republicans. So I really don't think his organization was political, but they have grouped them into political. I don't think it was either, Stephen. It was a debate. Yep. Pushing a narrative. Bingo. And this is the patterns I want you guys to see for yourself. He was talking about pharma giving huge donations to politicians to get rid of RFK for trying to get pharma older. Yeah, I believe that too. And pharma does. There's a big history behind pharma I won't get into right now. Charlie does try recruiting people to the Republican Party. Well, that's the conservative party. I don't think it was political in nature. The speaking event doesn't even say it was political. He does debates at colleges. Yes, they are debates. And the way he does it is so genius. I'm just telling you, he meets people where they are. He did. He met people where they were, no matter where they were in their life. He would meet them and he would use their culture attitude to get into their psyche. And this is just my assessment, to get into their culturistic psyche of what they were being taught. And typically you can see exactly the tactics he was using to get them to think, oh man, that's not very logical, is it? No, because you have to think for yourself. And he was reaching people and changing the future of these people, and people in power didn't like it. That's my humble opinion. That publishing book about, I looked into that individual, and alleged 25-year-old female I'm interested in that. The wife statement speaks just because it's sad. It is sad. It's terrible that they would. Okay. I was having this conversation with a friend before I jumped on here, and actually a few people. And what I see, what we witnessed a few days ago that went rapid and violent on social media is what others countries see every single day in their war-torn countries. They have brought the evil to our phones. People are sharing it. That video was viral before you knew it. That was a assassination, desensitizing even young kids who saw that video. It was not rated. It was not protected. It was just out there flowing around on social media. And that's what I have to say about that. So if they wanted to embed our culture with now showing desensitizing assassinations on our screens and reaching millions of us in the United States, they did it. Prior to this, they didn't know there was such a spectrum on the Republican Party. Oh, heck yeah, there is. Oh my God, yes. There's far extreme right. There's libertarian. The spectrum is huge in the political realm. If you don't know it, welcome to our world today. I feel guilty because I didn't know anything about him until yesterday. I try to stay out of political stuff, but he was not really political. He was affiliated with some parties, but he wasn't. And this is the key that you have to remember this. He was not with any party. Did he support parties? Yes. Did he believe in what they were doing? No. And you'll find that out quickly. I don't think it's stunning. It was my spouse's casket morning. I saw that. The state of Utah is going for libel in their actions. Yep. It was a mission statement more. Yep, I agree. Now, this isn't true. I mean, well, there are some out there that are political. There are. But his nonprofit does not look political. The mission statement, he aligned himself with some politicians, but I don't think it was. I said I do consider it okay. I hear you. I respect that. I respect that. If you guys think that, no one's ignorant. And the trolls are gonna show up. Let them show up. If they're rude, they go away. We're not rude. We're here to understand both sides. We're here to speak logically to one another. I don't think they were best friends, guys. I don't think best friends turn around and say things that go against somebody else. Were they allies? Maybe, but I don't think they were best friends. It's common sense. He's the common sense party. Yeah, pretty much. That was a party that's been way overlooked for way too long. I'm glad I didn't look at that video. And I told you, I warned you guys. I said, don't watch the video. You can't unsee once you see something like that. I mean, literally, I could see, and I'm not saying I'm highly spiritual or anything like that, but I could see his soul leave his body. And that, I've only seen 3 people pass away. I've seen one on their deathbed, and you know when someone passes. You know. If you know, you know. That's all I'll say. I think he was closer to Vance. I think he was. And that's a true statement. Okay, so let's get back. Phoenix, please look up at the IRS code. Yeah, I don't think they can be political in regards to the IRS. They can't have a political affiliation. So, I mean, I don't think that for them to say that, I don't know. Let's go back to the affidavit. So, and even the university didn't say it was a political event. So let me grab my other glasses so I can see this. Every time I talk, I take my glasses off. I don't know why. It's a habit. Okay, so let's see. Went to the event. Mr. Kirk is a conservative political activist. Again, there they go with the political thing. Who was scheduled to speak at an event in the courtyard area at the UVU campus. The courtyard area is to the west of the Losay Center building. According to video recordings, Charles was wearing a white t-shirt, dark pants, sitting under a white canopy in a courtyard of the campus facing to the east. The event was attended by hundreds of individuals. Charles was surrounded by people with multiple individuals to his left, right, and rear and front of the canopy. Behind the canopy was a walkway used for access to various parts of the university, which is very interesting. Charles was holding a microphone and speaking to a crowd. Well, into the microphone, a loud gunshot was heard at approximately 12:23 hours, and Charles appeared to have been hit in the neck. Blood was seen coming out the left side of his neck as he fell over to his left. He was transported to the Tempagos Regional Hospital in Orem. Charles was pronounced deceased at the hospital. Investigators reviewed the Utah Valley University surveillance cameras. While reviewing the surveillance cameras, investigators observed an individual on the rooftop of the Losay Center building on the UVU campus at the time of the shooting. Hereafter, the unidentified individual will be referred to as suspect. Based on surveillance camera footage, suspect appears to be a white male with dark-colored hair, wearing dark-colored hat, sunglasses, and a long-sleeved black shirt with a picture of an American flag and an eagle printed on the shirt, dark-colored jeans, and white-gray shoes with white-colored shoelaces. It appears to be consistent with Chuck Taylor Converse-style shoes. Well, hell. I don't know about you guys, but if you go to a rally outside or you go to a race or a ball game, or that sounds like almost every other American that you could think of. There was no yeah, I know it's small. Just bear with me, guys. I'm reading it. And so the suspect is carrying a dark colored backpack on his back. Suspect walks with a distinctive gait. Prior to the shooting, suspect appears to walk with a stiff right leg and relatively slow pace. Suspect's ability to bend his right leg appears to be restricted. That was going up the stairs. Investigators were able to track suspect's movement on the UV campus starting at approximately 11:50 hours on 9/10/25. Approximately at 11:50, the surveillance camera captured suspect walking across the grassy area north of the campus drive, approximately 800 west. Suspect walked through the parking lot and approached the pedestrian tunnel that runs underneath Campus Drive. Before entering the tunnel, suspect paused at the top of the stairs and pulled out what appeared to be a cell phone from his right pocket using right hand approximately at 11:53 hours. Eventually, he put what appeared to be a cell phone back in his right pants pocket using his right hand. Surveillance captured the suspect making his way to the Losay Center. What was the statement? I saw a video once and immediate tears came. Charlie was a great God-fearing man that was making huge change in this world. Yes, he was. Suspect making his way toward the Losay Center. Approximately 12:02, suspect was recorded walking on the north side of the Losay Building Center, walking with the same gait as observed earlier. The suspect entered the center building through the set of doors and the subset doors on the southeast corner of the building at approximately 12:15. Suspect, may have to go to the next one. Hold on. What did I say that was? Shoot. Where did it go? Hold on. So it says suspect. Dang it. I'm trying to read this. It's so tiny. Went to the common area adjacent to the center. Then he walked to a short concrete wall that separates the common area on the rooftop. Approximately 12:17, suspect climbed over the short wall and appeared to be crouched down on the north side wall on the rooftop. Well, how did he get from the concrete wall that separates? Okay, got it. He climbed over a short wall and appeared crouched down on the north side wall on the rooftop. At approximately 12:22 hours, suspect stood up and started running across the rooftop at the building on the roof. The notable limp from the previous surveillance was absent. Well, wait a minute. If they noticed a limp, how could he just run across without him having anything in his hands? How is that possible? I'm confused because now they say the noticeable limp from previous surveillance was absent. He ran to the west side of the rooftop and appeared to scoot along the rooftop area as he got closer to the edge of the rooftop. Wouldn't they be able to see a weapon in his hands? That doesn't make sense. At approximately 12:22, the suspect laid down in the position consistent with the prone shooting position near the edge of the rooftop and appeared to be facing west, the direction of the courtyard area. Now, guys, I have my own theory and thought on this. I'll save it for a minute. If he was running, it says he was running. The note he started running across the rooftop. The noticeable limp was absent. So whatever he was limping with, it doesn't say he was carrying it in his hands. It wasn't noticeable, but he was running. Was the weapon already on the roof? Is that even possible? Remember, I question the unthinkable. Was the weapon already on the roof if they couldn't identify him running with it? I mean, that's a pretty big weapon to run with, guys. Okay, let me finish reading this. He laid down in the prone position, shooting position near the edge of the rooftop and appeared to be facing west in the direction of the courtyard area. The rooftop of the center building overlooks the courtyard area where the event featured Charlie Kirk was taking place. The center building is east of the courtyard area. Approximately 12:23, Charlie Kirk was shot. At approximately 12:23, the surveillance shows that the suspect stood up suddenly from the edge of the rooftop and sprinted north of the rooftop to the center building. Suspect ran. Again, don't you think they would be able to see this weapon in his hands? He ran to the northeast corner of the center building and approached the edge of the rooftop. He placed the dark-colored item on the rooftop and proceeded to lower himself off the rooftop. No, he didn't. The dude jumped. He dropped. He dropped. He dropped off the rooftop onto the grass below. And that's a lot of feet to drop, guys. Suspect ran. I mean, if you look at that building, and I'm no building guru, but it looks at least 16 to 18 from off the ground. If this guy's about 5-6 feet, that's still a lot of feet to drop. That's like a lot of feet. And I mean, unless he's been training jumping off buildings for a while, that's a lot. Suspect ran north of the parking lot to the east of the center. At approximately 12:24 hours, he ran across the Campus Drive Road. Now he's a sprinter. Suspect appeared to be carrying an item, but they couldn't identify it as a long rifle, whose identity is not clear from the surveillance. Y'all. We. Oh my God. Oh my God, help us. Okay, so whose identity is not clear from the surveillance. The area to the north of Campus Drive Road where suspect crossed over consistent of the grassy area with trees on the edge of the campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in dark-colored towel. Okay. Doesn't say what kind. I know what a bolt action is. Do you guys know what it is? They're not very easy to use, guys. Takes a lot of work. They're easier for some, but not for others. Yeah, they're lightweight. They're semi-automatic. Yeah, they have all these documents talking about their great surveillance. Yeah, it's all digital evidence, but nobody can identify them. Okay, the area north of Campus Drive where the suspect crossed over consistent with the grassy area on the edge of the trees how convenient at the UVU campus. Investigators, they discovered the rifle. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30.06 caliber bolt action rifle. Whose rifle was it? Whose rifle was this? Can't they trace it back? It's about $1,000 rifle, right? A new one, a used one is probably about, it's a 30.06. It's probably Oh, it's not a standard expert. Those are expensive. But you know what? What I'm thinking is that maybe it was a gift, or maybe he took it from someone. A conservative in a hunting family was radicalized. Well, possibly. Possibly. His dad, yeah, alleged. I don't know if his dad was a sheriff. I didn't find any information, but I did show you his home address the other day, which now they say he lived with a trans roommate allegedly. So I don't know what that is all about. Now, investigators discovered it. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscription that had been engraved on casings found on the rifle. Inscriptions on the fired casing read, "Notices bulge. Oh, whoa. What's this?" Isn't that weird? I mean, do you guys know what an OO is? I mean, think about it. It's a surprise, excitement. Isn't that slang? What is that? Isn't that slang for something nowadays? Yeah, it's slang. Slang spear. How would a pro use it? Let me see. Oh, whoa. That was so cute. Oh, whoa. What is this? Did they expect us to believe this stuff? I mean, I'm just giving you my take. Let me find a video. Let me find a video. Let me do that. Let's see.
Ow, or ow, ow,
Let's just play this and see if this is what they're talking about.
ow. Another Japanese-inspired emote used to express shock, surprise, etc. Often used excessively by weeaboos on the internet when trying to be cute. Can be either ow or ow, Johnny. I really like this girl online, but she talks in emotes, Sam. Ow, ow, ow.
All right, let's get back to this affidavit. All right. Um, third, I did an unfired casing read. Oh, what? Sorry, I missed the first one. Inscriptions: the three unrifled casings saying "Hey, fastest catch." Up arrow symbol, right arrow symbol, and three down arrow symbols. Well, what does that mean? Up arrow symbol, right arrow symbol, and three down arrow symbols. Does anybody know what that means? Gonna have to do a live dig here, guys. Hold on a minute. What does up arrow down arrow? No, up arrow, right arrow, and three down arrow. Is that like on the computer, on the keyboard? Right arrow. Let me type this in. I'm just looking at a keyboard. Is that like a movement to a game? And three down arrow symbols. It looks like maybe a pattern. Up, right, three down. Medical, gaming, or spiritual. Esoteric, sports, medical term. So an up arrow, right arrow. Maybe this was some type of metaphor. An up arrow, right arrow, three down arrow symbols. Okay, you guys ready for this one? A cheat code. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. A gamer or iron font reference. Right? Yeah. Three down. Okay, this is what I got. I'll share this real quick. Hold on, let me grab over there. This is what I got. And where is it? I don't know if I can make this any bigger. Can I? No, I don't think so. Okay, so it gives me the general symbol meaning: arrow up, rise, increase, growth, strength, positive, higher, moving up, moving upward. Right arrow, progression, direction forward, moving to the next step. And 3 down, sharp decline, decrease, or something dropping fast, emphasis on down. Medical scientific is obviously elevated, decreased, or severely low. Drastic decrease. Nothing moving over leads to severe decrease. Gaming experts could represent a combo or sequence of moves. For example, in fighting games like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, arrow, joystick, directions might be a special input. Spiritual, sometimes used in tarot, astrology, or symbolic writing. 1 is ascension, spiritual rise, that's up. Right is destiny or path forward. And 3 down, descent, grounding, or warning. Sure, let me say gaming. Let's do gaming since everybody knows he was on a gaming. Nope. All right, well, let's go back to the affidavit. I'll continue reading on. It's got to be something. Maybe it's a code or a signal or something. I don't know. And second, unfired casing read O bello chow. Bella, chow. What is that referring? If you read this, you are gay. What? This has to be some type of hidden meaning in a meme or a game. Oh, let me see what this is from. I'm going to do an internet search. Of course, when they said this the other day, it was very difficult to understand what they were saying. So I'm glad this came out to take a look at it. Is this some chant that they're getting everybody to say? Don't repeat these, guys. Or are they trying to see how many people look into it? Ah, you gotta be kidding me. The song is an anti-Nazi, anti-fascist Italian folk song dedicated to the parsons of the Italian resistance who fought against occupying troops. You gotta be freaking kidding me. I didn't know that's what that song was about. Did you all know that? I had no idea. Hey, JR, Nana Boomer, we are reading about the affidavit of Tyler Robinson, who has been charged with Charlie Kirk's murder. I had no idea that was the song. I had no idea. None. Money Heist. Freaking Money Heist. Wasn't that song in Money Heist? If anything, I remember that. Wasn't, yeah, it is old. The song's popular. What else did you see it in? What other movies Money Heist was in? I mean, that song was in. Let me see. I saw that on Netflix like years ago. It was a show. It was. Yeah, I saw that. I remember that. There's another song. What other movies has it been played in? Let me see. Let me do a search. Might as well do a live search since we're doing a live affidavit. Let me see. What songs? There's another movie it was in. Let me see. It was actually a movie. Trying to think of another movie that it was in that was, I guess it was Money Heist. I know I saw that. Maybe that was the only one. Here it is. What was the Microsoft? What was the Bella Ciao meaning of Italian phrase written on Charlie Kirk's assassin? Somebody already made a video about it. I was just reading it. Okay, so let's get back. I thought the reason this guy did it, I don't know. I don't know. The messages people saying, why couldn't he just write him a note and not have to do what he did? But the third unread casing read, if you read this, you are gay, laughing my A off. Investigators also discovered shoe impressions on the north corner rooftop edge of the building. The shoe impression was located in the vicinity where the suspect climbed down from the rooftop. He didn't climb. He, what do you call that? Not parquet. He didn't scaffold the side of the building. What happens when you just drop? He didn't climb when he climbed down from the rooftop. The shoe impression left a consistent with the sole characteristic of Converse Chuck Taylor shoe. Converse Chuck Taylor shoes. He must have dropped hard to leave an impression. Was the grass wet? The song appears in Far Cry 6 and Hearts of Iron. Ah, okay. Is it in a game? Is it in a game too, guys? That song? Maybe a video game? That's what came to my mind just right now. Far Cry 6. Yeah, that game. Hearts of Iron. Yep, you're right. Yep, you're right. Chuck Taylors have no cushion. Well, that's why I said it looked like he was injured. It looks like he was injured, but this guy doesn't look injured to me. That's a far way down. I don't care if you're 5'9" or 6 foot tall. That's a far way down. And then the drop, about 160, 180 pounds at that weight, at that speed, and that distance. Hello, Caleb. Yeah, they're games. Yeah, they are games. Chuck Taylors have no cushions. They're not comfortable at all. I'm sorry, you'd never catch me in those. Okay, let's go. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's offices with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators. The information was also conveyed to the FBI. So how did they get to him? So he had confessed to them. You know how many people confess to things that they don't do? It's wild. Like somebody else will take responsibility for it and they weren't even in the state. It's crazy. Investigators reviewed additional footage from the UV surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on campus in a gray Dodge Challenger approximately at 8:29 on September 10th. Now, they don't say AM or PM. They just say 8:29. And it's not, they put semicolons in between 8 and 29, which typically you don't see. You look at all the rest of them and you don't see that. On September 10th, which he is observed on video in plain maroon t-shirt, light colored shorts, a black hat, a white logo, and colored shoes. Well, damn, how in the world did he have time to change, and where did he change, and why don't they have the surveillance of him going to any restroom on campus changing? Well, okay then. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, early morning, he was observed in consistent clothing with surveillance images. All right. That's half of Utah out there wearing the same type of outfits. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. Well, a lot of people have become more political in recent years, guys. Remember, the Constitution of the United States of America is you are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. You have to remember this. You have to have an open mind. This could be any one of you, any of your sons, any of your uncles, family, friends, member, yourself. It could be yourself. Investigators interviewed family, he'd become more political. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th. In a conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Cook was coming to the UVU. Well, if you're in the area and saw all that protest of the actual, I don't know if any of you saw that. I shared it with a few people. I made a video of it. Change.org. I don't know if they've scrubbed it yet, but let's see if it's still out there. Oh, let's see. Leftist, change.org. Here it is. Oh, they took it down, it looks like. We're doing our best to get things worked out. Yeah, it looks like they took it down. I got screenshots. Yep. Looks like they took it down, but thankfully I documented it. And let me grab it real quick. And we can watch it. I will share this with you. And all right, here we go.
Early spoke at UVU. There was a petition made by somebody in Colorado, and it got over 6,000 signatures for him not to speak at this event. 6,832 supporters, and some of these comments are so vile and disgusting. Why would they ever allow him to speak outdoors in a venue in this type of hostility? I don't understand from a security perspective. There were many thousands of threats that were made to Charlie just in the last few years. And even with that, why did they not move any of these venues indoors? I mean, it would be for his safety, for others' safety. This doesn't make sense to me. Make this make sense. I'll share those with you. I don't approve of any of this V stuff going on. We need to come together. We need to come together and find a common ground where we can put all the political stuff aside, because this doesn't solve any problems. Things like this don't solve any problems either. I mean, you could read this. You could read this. And I'm just shocked. I mean, things out there exist. And the values and the ideology that the Utah State University strives to epitomize, what is up with that? What were they teaching out there? And they let this continue on? I mean, they were asking the university to reconsider not allowing him to speak at the event. Who allowed this to continue without addressing the security concerns? I mean, a simple Google search will give you some good answers. I mean, these were just some of the concerns. Limited security presence, no checkpoints, was a vulnerable location. There was a history of these threats. I mean, thousands through his life in the past. Other venues had either been canceled or moved his events due to the threats and potential violence. Is nobody on his team checking these petitions to see how vile people would be at that college? I'm dumbfounded. I'm in shock. But also, logically, why would anybody do something like this? Why? To somebody who is just sharing the word and touching the hearts of college age kids that have been long forgotten. Yeah, we need more goodness in this world than some of the stuff that I just read. Wow. I mean, think about it. If you didn't want someone to speak at a certain event, what would you do? Not go. Isn't that logic? I mean, is this a territorial issue? I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded by what we see every day in our faces that everyone seems to ignore. I mean, leave a comment. Let me know how you really feel. Would you have attended something like this if you were in college? I mean, maybe just out of curiosity to see who he was. Some people knew who he was, obviously. They knew. Be well.
So, I mean, I share all the petition, some of the comments that were, not all 6,000 of them, but some comments that were in that petition. They were very vile. They were very disgusting. That's probably why they've removed it from the website. I mean, I definitely would. And that's not the only petition out there. There were other petitions that were on the website. That was just one of them that I grabbed because I truly was dumbfounded. I was pretty shocked. I would have just ignored it and not attended, unless, you got to understand. And if you don't understand what Charlie did, you can go watch some videos of his on Turning Point, and you can actually go and look how he was able to, you can see instant changes in people's demeanors after he spoke something of common sense to them. Okay, so let me see, where are we? Investigators, the family was okay. So he spoke on the coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and his viewpoints he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed the roommate, who stated that the roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it up and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between, hold on a second, I gotta flip it. Let me see. Hold on. That's so tiny. Let me see if I can enlarge it. This is so tiny. The content of the messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where the rifle was left, and messages referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and mention of the scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact Tyler also mention that he had changed outfits. Based on the evidence detailed in this statement, I believe there is probable cause that Tyler Robinson committed these crimes of aggression against shooting, crimes of aggravated murder by shooting Charlie Kirk in a, I can't read this, it's so tiny, in a circumstance that put many around them at grave risk of death, felony discharge of a firearm, and obstruction of justice for moving and hiding the rifle believed to be used in the shooting. Submitted this affidavit by criminal penalty of the state of Utah. The foregoing is true and correct. That was the probable cause by the Attorney General's office, Brian Davis. And that was done on 9/12/2025 at 7:18 in the morning. The Utah County Sheriff's Office, they have an inmate number already as of 4 o'clock. Well, that doesn't make sense. That does not make sense at all, guys. Something is funky. How do you... Wait a minute. Wait 1 second. I don't know if you can see this, but it basically says the probable cause was entered 9/12/25 at 7:18. That's AM. Unless they're not using... this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. It says the arrest date and time was 3 hours before the PCA. Did they arrest him first and then do a probable cause? What in the world? This doesn't make sense. The time that this affidavit was signed by the Attorney General, it says 7:18. I don't know if they're using... Let me go back to the first page. It doesn't say any times on here. The last page says probable cause entered at 7:18, but the arrest was at 4 o'clock. Is that AM or PM? That doesn't make sense. They give him an inmate number, but this paperwork is not making sense. They're supposed to collect all encrypted data, and then the FBI doesn't need permission to gather Discord encrypted content. Oh, wow. Wow. Discord denies these, Mag. Yeah, they do. I saw it. They denied that the messages existed. I don't get this, guys. Yeah, he could have worn layers of clothing. He could have. Yeah, on his way. Google says he can be arrested before probable cause. He could have been detained, not arrested. He could be detained. Let me see. Let me see what this says. Let me ask old expert lawyer here. You can be detained before a formal written probable affidavit. But legally, the arrest itself still requires probable cause. Probable cause must exist. Police cannot lawfully arrest someone in the United States without probable cause, meaning enough facts and evidence have reasonably been believed the person committed the crime. The standard can be met by witness statements, physical evidence, and officer observation. It doesn't have to be proven in court yet. Well, that's freaking scary. That is freaking scary. I'm gonna do this. I am going to upload every single one of these, and I am going to ask my legal assistant right here to tell me if they can spot a pattern that I cannot spot. Let's see what they say. Let's just take a look at this, folks, since we got a hot minute. I'm very curious. Something doesn't pass the smell test here. It's all circumstantial. Remember, innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. It's all circumstantial. The roommate is supposed to be some trans jilted lover and turned him in. Is that what I read? Let me see. Probable cause does not have to be written down before arrest. They just need to write their probable cause in a report. I got that. Please look up Raz. Okay. Maybe because he turned himself in. Notice out FBI 10-1. That's the time it was posted before that. That's possible. Yeah, reasonable suspicion if they think that he did cause a crime, especially if he's a risk to flee the country or something of that nature. I get that. Okay, so he was arrested at 4 a.m. The probable cause entry wasn't formally logged until 7:18. I saw that without my having to use this. This means the arrest happened before the paperwork was filled out before the court. That's legal, as long as the police already had sufficient evidence, which obviously they probably did, because they had witnesses say that, yeah, it was him. He confessed. After arrest, the state must present probable cause to a judge quickly, usually within 24 hours. Oversight is required. That's why the affidavit exists. It's laid out in the supporting evidence, surveillance, witnesses, ballistic evidence, not yet known, and messages tied to the suspect. You know, this is the awkward thing about messages, guys. If you don't know the rules of evidence in a court of law, they have to validate that this is not a fake account. They have to prove that this is your account. Let's see. Public release can lag behind. In summary, yes. Would you like me to put it in layman's terms? Yes. And prompt yourself. Hold on a minute. Okay, I gave itself a prompt, and I'm going to say, let's go step by step. Let's see. He was tracked by walking distinctively in a black and blue Adidas backpack and later seen running because he ran and he had a backpack. Now, I'm going to put this out hypothetically. This is just my speculation and theory, guys. If that was not him that jumped down and scaled the building, I'm just saying hypothetically if that was not him. Because you're innocent until proven. You know the drill. How many people had the same backpacks? How many people possibly could have worn similar clothing? And how many people were running when they heard shots? Just saying. I'm not trying to sound facetious. I'm just being logical here. I mean, would you run if you heard gunshots, if you heard people screaming and an alert went out? Because there were kids in class, sitting in class. They couldn't get out because they were in lockdown mode. I don't know about that campus. I don't know if they have a siren, an alarm, or a system that basically says run to the nearest safest place or get to the nearest safest place, because anybody could say, yeah, I was out in the open and in danger. I had to run for my life. Right? Yeah, I saw the president. I saw Astrid. I looked at that. No, his father didn't turn him in. It said a family member called a friend that turned him in. A family member called a friend. Yeah, absolutely. First Amendment right. So when you look at this and you say the surveillance patterns, the affidavit emphasizes on surveillance only on multiple cameras. No eyewitness puts him in the area at that time. It describes to him being appeared as a suspect seen or believed to be. And I will say this time and time again. Oh my gosh. I will say this time and time again. Let me read you something I just got done writing in the Idaho 4 in my digital book that I'm almost done with. I just wrote this. You guys will not believe what I just wrote. Okay? You're going to flip when I tell you this. I wrote down 2 distinctive things about Bethany Funk. And I noticed in her interview these 2 distinctive things. Bethany's account places her awake during the exact murder window, yet she describes ordinary noises rather than chaos and detailing that undermines the expectation that violent attacks should have been unmistakable. And the other thing that I made notice of, let me go back in my notes, hold on. This just reminded me of this. So basically what she was saying is, hold on, let me go back in my notes. I wrote it down. I wanted to make sure I didn't lose my train of thought. It makes her very difficult, because listen, it makes her very difficult to be a material witness, even if she potentially had exculpatory knowledge, because of her statements. And on the body camera video reinforces her uncertainty. She repeatedly qualifies her recollections with phrases like, I thought I saw, or I'm not sure, and the blurring between reality and half sleep states create a shadowy, ambiguous timeline because of the way she worded herself. I thought I saw, or I'm not sure. It almost as if she wasn't there. Her ambiguous statements is a very clear indication that perhaps the timeline is ambiguous. Because honestly, she didn't have enough evidence to offer. That's what I wrote down. And that statement right there reminded me of Bethany Funk's statement. Wow, that's wild. That is so freaking wild. At least that's what's being said. The dad called the pastor turned him in. That's exactly what's being said. So it's a third party. It's not his dad turned him in. His pastor allegedly turned him in. Okay? Because if I contact my pastor and I say, hey, my kid did something really awful, it's up to the pastor to say, well, is this unethical if I don't report this? And he probably reported it. So I thought about that from BF from the beginning, not there. It's very possible because the way her statement words are reminded me of this guy's statement. It reminded me perhaps that he wasn't there. And, it's hearsay, it's third party, and whoever else said that a family member could say he confessed all day long until he confesses, it's hearsay, but it's enough probable cause to arrest. Absolutely. So there is no exact eyewitness. Again, in this case, there is no witness, an eyewitness that can put him at the scene of the crime. And the camera evidence is very shaky because it says suspect appeared to crouch down on the north side of the wall on the rooftop. Was this confirmed at multiple angles or just the camera view? And obviously the defense can argue it's mistaken ID with a chaotic environment. Just like I said, if he was running, nobody would suspect he was the suspect if everybody was running. Chain of custody of the weapon. They claimed he hid and moved the weapon, but the affidavit doesn't specify where the weapon was found, other than it was found complete. That's the only thing I've heard. It didn't say anything in the affidavit about the actual weapon. It was tied to him. What forensic proof is there, right? That gap that leaves the gap of the forensic chain that we talked about in DNA, fingerprints, all that other stuff. And then also the affidavit states Robinson had personal sightings or jokes on social media in the comments. I mean, that would be perfect to engrave something on that's scary, guys. A thought just popped into my head that, you know, you're targeted on social media and they make everything look like you did it. That's scary. Think about that one. Yeah, he does look different than the guy on camera. He does. That's scary. Somebody could learn your mannerisms, make fake accounts, do things and pin something on you that you didn't even know about or do. And that's how I feel like Koberger was. They pinned it on him and he didn't know any of these people. He didn't know anything about these individuals. It's scary. It is freaking scary. But I wanted to come on and share this with you since I got a copy of it and I was reading it, and I figured, heck, I might as well go live and break it down and look at it. They can seem to make a copycat of Luigi in the backpack. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what is going on? It's all circumstantial evidence. It's all circumstantial, which led me, and let me take off these glasses so I can see, which led me to look at some other things that were going on in the area, just out of curiosity, right? And I'll just throw this in here. There has been a lot of, let me bring it up. Let me bring this up. Where is it? How could we forget this? Let me share my screen and you guys can see it. I always look at these latest happenings in the area of certain events because I always find it interesting, the stuff that you see. So this was April 5th, 2024. The U.S. Attorney's Office and DEA announces the first Utah drug overdose task force to combat the opioid epidemic in the Beehive State. Okay? And I'm always curious about, what's happening. And then they're talking about fentanyl, right? They're talking about the rise in overdoses. And then, you could start putting two and two together. You can go right to their press release, and you can see, I mean, let's do this. Let's do, you can see all kinds of things happening. So it just depends on what you want to find. I mean, tell me something that you guys want to look for, and you can go in there and you can see exactly what's going on. 18 months for imprisonment for extortion. You can go in here and see, you can see almost anything going on in the area, right? And that's one of the things that I always look at. In major areas where something happens, there's always something else happening that's a bigger, much larger issue. Let me see if you guys got anything you want to look up. Busted, not to mention they're charging Luigi for copycats. Yep, rugs. Yeah, that's a good one. The FBI does have a YouTube channel. Yep. Do I know what the first bullet meant on the casing? I honestly don't know. I mean, if somebody knows, they believe that they know on the first casing, share it with us. I couldn't even tell you. Notices bulge. Oh, wow. What's this? I think it's kind of like inference of the male anatomy. Yeah, there was something. It was written. They said a few things were written on the bullet casing. I shared this video with you guys. I don't know if you saw this.
Whoa. Another Japanese-inspired emote used to express shock, surprise, etc. Often used excessively by weeaboos on the internet when trying to be cute. Can be either ow whoa or ow whoa Johnny. I really like this girl online, but she talks in emotes Sam. Ow whoa. Ow whoa.
Okay, so I think maybe it was referring to notice bulges. Wow, something of that. What's this? Notices bulge. Wow, what's this? So, I mean, I think it's referring to a male part. But that's me. I don't know. So anyways, I appreciate y'all jumping on. It's always good to chit chat or chat. And if you need anything, I'm here. But until gosh, I'm going to take the rest of the weekend off. I know that I have got something big planned for Monday. So I hope I catch you guys back here on Monday. What is it? Well, I am going to be having my letters from prison session on Monday at 3:45 until Friday when we hear back from Judge Hippler what documents will be unsealed. So until then, I'll see you Monday. It's pronounced you. O-W-O. O-wo. Isn't it O-wo? You. It's pronounced you. All right, y'all. Have a great, fantastic Sunday night. Enjoy Saturday night. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll catch you back here Monday at 3:45 live. Take care, you all. Bye-bye.
No more hidden verdicts, no more secrets solved. Every voice is a weapon, every story be told. Innocent till proven guilty, that's our final decree. Under this constitution we stand forever free. Phoenix in the dawn, truth ignites the sky. Together we stand tall, no more asking why.